No, it's actually the fact that I'm just so blue right now. I don't even have an introduction, guys. Today is just a little yap sesh on a roof because I found this cool light. I guess this whole video is kind of just me ranting. These days, as per my last video, I've been working a little bit more on personal relationships, friendships, and I just wanted to share some of the thoughts that have just been run around in my head these days when it comes to those things, because I think I've learned so much and grown so much as a person. I'm like switching between the viewfinder and the camera because I don't know which one to look at. I'm still trying to work on my public speaking presentation skills, because like low-key sometimes I edit my videos and I'm like, you were looking away 90% of the time. But these days I've been really focusing more on my friendships and my close relationships, and all I have to say is like it's a huge learning experience for me, because especially since I'm so comfortable alone, it's almost as if like anyone around me makes a single mistake and I'm just like, fuck them, I'll just be alone, right? Because I'm so comfortable alone already. Like, why do I have to go through the hassle of being with other people? But then you realize that like everyone's human and there's no right and wrong. I mean, obviously sometimes like there are just abusers, but I feel like no one's perfect, right? I talked about this in my last video, but I just wanted to like talk about it more in some more detail. But a lot of times it's like if someone does anything wrong, we're suddenly like, fuck them, I'm just gonna be independent, let's focus on myself. That's weird to me, because it's just like, yes, there are some people who are genuinely like, bro, you need to go and seek help, but like most people aren't perfect, and you're not always just gonna have a relationship without any conflict. And I think growing up, because especially as the middle kid, I always had to like make sure that everyone was feeling all right and that nobody had like any issues with me. I think before, a lot of times when my friends did things that made me uncomfortable, I just slowly distanced myself because I didn't want that confrontation. I didn't want that conflict because I thought that conflict was inherently bad, which it is not. It's just a natural part of relationships. We're all human. Like no one's like smooth, you know? I'm just not making sense, but like no one is like smooth. Everyone's a bit rough around the edges, and sometimes that causes friction. And if you just like communicate and resolve it, it really deepens your relationship. It makes you feel more human. I don't know how to make this sound less bad, but I just want to say like, yes, self-love is important, and I was like on the whole self-love thing for a really long time. It's a little bit overrated now. I think people try to focus on that a bit too much because it's the only thing that's like within your control, so like you kind of just want to control that. A lot of people are just afraid of getting hurt. That's it. That's just it. And me too as well. Like for a long time I thought all I had to do was just like love myself and be hyper independent, but it's like you're missing out on this huge chunk of life. I feel like I've learned so much more from my friends than I could have on my own, and obviously it depends on the people you hang around, but if you hang around the right people, I'm telling you this, you can learn so much more just from hanging around the right people than you can from yourself. And I'm not saying that it's not good to be by yourself. Like you can learn so much on your own as well, but this is just coming from someone, like if you're like me, someone who has been, bro, my camera's shaking so much, someone who has been already alone for an extended period of time. At that point it's like you kind of already learned a lot of what there is to learn by being by yourself, and now it's time to start learning from other people and start trying to just form better relationships with other people. And I just don't like the whole like they made one mistake and they did this minor thing that means this is a red flag and now we're not talking to them anymore. Obviously like there's some people that you just don't vibe with, don't force yourself to vibe with them, but I'm saying the whole independence, self-love, whatever thing is a little bit overrated for people who have already been alone for an extended period of time, and you can learn so much more. Like genuinely your life could be so much more rich, if that makes sense, with other people in it, people who you genuinely care about and who genuinely care about you, because life is not meant to be lived on your own. Just by having a few close friends, I've learned so much from them. I've learned so much about myself through them, and I feel a lot happier in general because it feels like whenever they're happy, like I'm also really happy. So like it sounds so sappy, but it's just true. Their joy is my joy, and I'm invested in their lives. I'm invested in more than just my own life. There's such like a huge message out there that's like you just need to like work on yourself and be so independent and like self-love and blah blah blah. Like it's so vague as well. Like what do you even mean by that? What do you even mean by self-love? Like I don't even think people can describe love, so like what do you mean by like self-love? And I don't know, I feel like people just kind of throw that term around randomly. It's like a black box almost, you know, and like words are just used because you don't have an actual specific description for what you're trying to say. So it just kind of feels like you're just throwing that word around. Oh, you can't be in a relationship because self-love. What? But what do you mean when you say self-love? Think about that. Like you try to explain, it's like, okay, you love yourself, you are your own best friend. It's just like so vague. I don't know, like it could be so many things. Yeah, I think people are gonna come at me for this, but it's also okay, because there's just such a standard or like a status quo. Like even for me, like sometimes I watch videos and I'm like, huh, this is weird that I don't agree, because it's like almost expected that you agree with what they say. But like, shouldn't that not be the status quo, if that makes sense, you know? Because like, isn't it normal to just disagree with people? Like, isn't it more normal for you to watch a video and disagree with what they're saying than agree? Like, that's kind of what is also kind of weird to me about social media. It's like, you watch a video expecting to agree with all their points. Aren't people just saying things that are agreeable then? Is people are kind of just tuning themselves to say things that are generally agreeable? And even like some of the stuff I'm saying right now, I'm pretty sure like most people still agree with me. Just putting it out there that totally fine to disagree. Like, that's normal, right? Like, sometimes even I catch myself, like I watch some creator's video and I'm like, why do I disagree? Maybe there's something wrong with me. And I look at the comments and I'm like, this comment has so many likes, but why do I disagree with that? That's normal. You can disagree with that. Like, you can disagree with everything I say. But like, I'm just a person. Like, I'm just a random ass person in a parking lot at like 12 a.m. I guess like the problem is like a lot of people these days hate themselves. To be honest, I don't even think it's that important to love yourself. Think about this. Like, when you were a kid, did you ever think to yourself, self-love? No, bro, you just lived. You just lived as a person. No one was ever like, oh, like self-love and confidence. What are 3 favorite things about yourself? What are 3 things about your body that you loved? And as a kid, bro, I just went outside and I played with sand. What the fuck, did I care? What? Did I have to like really think about like 3 traits that I liked about myself? No, I didn't. Like, I just lived like a human. So sometimes these things low-key sound a little bit dumb to me. And I think it's like, it's helpful. Yeah, like I'm not saying this like to shit on everyone who does this, because I did this in the past too, but this is just like my thoughts today. Honestly, my thoughts could change tomorrow. I just see videos that are like, yeah, like think about 3 things you love about yourself, and then stand in the mirror and then say like, oh, like I'm so beautiful, and then I don't know, like treat yourself like your own best friend, and what. It kind of feels like those things are just things that you put on top of like the ugly, right? To fix the ugly. But like, you didn't really address the ugly, if that makes sense. You have an insecurity, but you just go in the mirror and you're like, I'm pretty, I'm pretty, I'm pretty. Okay, it's like almost like you have a mud cake, but then you just put like regular icing on it, but in the inside it's still a mud cake. And I just think it's like kind of, I don't know, it's kind of like, it's very packaged, it's very dressed up in a certain way. It's low-key a little bit unnatural. Bro, like when I was a kid, did I have to really look in a mirror and tell myself I was beautiful? Did I even care that I was beautiful? Bro, I just cared that I could eat some ice cream and look at some clouds. I just existed, right? I don't even know if I was confident or if I was not confident, and I didn't even think about this like whole self-love whatever thing until I became depressed. So it's just like, you know, it makes me think, and I don't think I have a coherent way of expressing my thoughts right now, but it's like, these are the lines along which I'm thinking about this. It's a little bit strange to me. These days I just learned how important it was just to connect with other people, and also just to remain humble. Like, I don't know, like there's just something so good about being humbled. I feel like people always joke about being humbled, but it's just like so human. And my friend and I were talking and we were just like, yeah, there were so many things that we attached our value to. One of my friends, she was like talking about how she attached her values to like being so mature, and that was just so strange to me, because like that never occurred to me in my head, right? And it's weird because you talk with your friends and it's like, I'm not friends with you because you're mature. Like, I'm not friends with you because you're smart. I'm not friends with you because you're pretty. Like, obviously those are great things, but like, I'm friends with you because you're you. You're just you. And I don't care if my friends look like a toad or like a supermodel. They're still my friend. Like, I'm friends with you because you're you, and that's it. It's so hard for people to realize that sometimes, because I always attach so much of my own value as well to like how smart I was or how creative I was or whatever. And then sometimes just having people around you who genuinely like you for you and love you for you, it's not even like demotivating and like, fuck, like I don't have to do anything now. But it's more like, I don't have to attach my worth to anything external. Like, I'm just enough. Like, I'm just me, and people are friends with me because I'm me, not because of anything external. And I mean, I guess there are fake people, but like, those people are just really sad too, because bro, like, if you're friends with somebody because they look good, how happy are you really? Your friend might attach their worth so much onto their academics, but it's like, are you friends with your friend because they're good at math? No, you're friends with them because they're them, and they don't see their worth in being themselves. They put their worth in something external that other people don't even care that much about, you know? Why do we put so much of our worth in these external things? And then we have like this huge ego, and it's just like, when you're humbled, it's like your world has fallen apart almost. but it's such a great thing to be humbled. When I used to get bad grades, I would just think, fuck, I'm dumb, like I have to grind so hard now and I have to get 100% on everything just to prove that I was worth something. But now when I get a bad grade, it doesn't feel like a personal attack anymore. It just feels like I have so much more to learn and I have so much room to grow. And I know this sounds like literally the shit that like your elementary school teacher tells you, but I swear to God, like they were on something. They were right. I have so much to learn. There's such like an abundant amount of knowledge out there for me to receive, and shouldn't I just be grateful for that? Like shouldn't I be grateful for how much growth I can get out of this? And that's it. There's literally nothing else. I don't know, I just think it's so important to be humble and to realize that at the end of the day, everybody's just like a human. And my friend and I, we were just talking and we were like, yeah, like what do you want in a partner or in friendships? And the answer was just to be human together. Like that's literally it. Like we just want to be human together, and for somebody to have this human experience with us and share our joy and share our sadness, and I don't know, have somebody to be human with. At the end of the day, that's all that really matters. So yeah, that's basically my whole rant for the day. Thank you for listening. And if you disagree, please disagree. Can we just like make it normal to not agree with everything that everyone's saying? Thank you. Anyways, bye.